Hey, girl.
Hello.
How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, girl. Hello, and welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In the Divas Den. So glad to have you guys here. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to get to. I had to put my glasses on today because it's definitely going to be a reading session. Because people are out here wilding, but we are going to collectively get them together. But before we get into any of that, I want you guys to go ahead and click that share button. I want you to also click that follow button, just so you can let a friend know that the Divas are here and we are about to jump into our discussions. But before we do that, girl, Precious, honey, how are you feeling?
You know, fun was had this weekend. Not the fun I was looking for, but to another Wednesday. How about you, Kim?
Girl, I'm here. I am here. It was a very, very nice weekend, and it was a good week. But you know, people always try to test you, honey. They always try to test you. But I'm here. I am here. I'm ready to get into our topics for the night because, baby, we got a lot to get to. And, of course, we have a special guest tonight, Miss Azia Harris of Azia B Nail Salon. We're going to talk to her just essentially about how she got started and how she grew into the entrepreneur that she is now and how she's even mentoring young Black women to make a means for themselves. So really excited about her story. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and get into our headlines. There we go. Hey, now, producer, you're on it. First things first, Lindsey Graham, everyone's favorite racist, is at it again. He decided to go on to one of the most racist platforms that is out there, Fox News, and essentially be the mouth for the Black community. He was posed the question of, does he feel as though racism is still prevalent in America? So let's go ahead and read. Well, not read. Let's go ahead and see that video of his response.
Senator, is there systemic racism in this country in policing and in other institutions?
No, not in my opinion. We just elected a two-term African-American president. The vice president is of African-American Indian descent. So our systems are not racist. America is not a racist country. Within every society, you have bad actors. The Chauvin trial was a just result.
So look at that, y'all. Guess what? America's no longer racist. Why? Because we elected a Black president and because we have a Black vice president in office. Did you guys, Precious, did you know that America's no longer racist?
It's news to me.
I find it funny that someone who is so far removed, someone who knows nothing about being a person of color in America is speaking for us. You have never, ever experienced anything remotely to racism because you are a white privileged male who also is in in government, political office. So how do you sit on your platform and get to speak for us? So what I wanted to do with our headlines for today, because of course a lot is happening in America, even though he's failing to realize it, is just draw attention to what exactly is going on. Number one, let's go ahead and start with the simple fact that Black people essentially are enduring a modern day lynching from police officers who feel the need to shoot first and then ask questions later. If you guys have not heard, not only are we dealing with the death, the murder of Ma'Khia Bryant, but then we just got recent news of Andrew Brown Jr., who was shot right here in North Carolina and killed. Then we have Anthony Thompson Jr. down below, who was shot and killed as well. Then we also have Azia Brown, who is in critical condition after he was shot 4 times by the police officer who dropped him off at home because the police officer believed that the cordless phone that he was holding was a gun. So once again, what?
You know, the key words in his statement were, in my opinion. You are privileged enough to have an opinion that exists outside of the truth. And also you're privileged enough to have a platform to then spew that opinion, that although wrong, to all the other people who will, in their mind, rightfully agree with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And that's why we continue to have this problem here. We know what's happening because we know that it's happening to people in our community. And for whatever reason, once again, the denial of anything could possibly be wrong because of the quote unquote progress that's been made by the officials that have been elected to high government. When has that ever meant anything?
Exactly.
When?
Exactly. Exactly. And what I don't get is how you can hear these conversations. And you can have these conversations with, fellow people who hold office, who are of color. And like you said, essentially say, in your opinion, it doesn't exist, that you don't believe that, that systematic racism isn't a thing. It angers me so much because we're constantly seeing our people be murdered in the streets at the hands of police officers, and nothing happens. It's a shame that we had to celebrate just one man going to jail, and the only reason why it happened was because it was blatant murder. There was no way to go around it other than the simple fact that you murdered this man. You had your knee on his neck for 9 minutes, and no one could argue that. But now we are sitting here experiencing the fact of, like I said, Andrew Brown, who was shot in the back of his head when his hands were on the steering wheel, and they will not release the body cam footage. And we know why they won't release it, because of course they don't want protests. But how is it that he can be shot 4 times and you not believe that America is racist? How is it that Ma'Khia Bryant, who called for help and was shot and died at the hands of a police officer, you don't believe that that was racist based off of the color of her skin? That Azia Brown was holding a cordless phone, and once again, a police officer decided to react instead of diffusing the situation, and now he's sitting in critical condition. And the fact that Anthony Thompson was shot while handcuffed. How does that happen? What, in your mind, if it's not racism, then what is it? And the reason
what it is fear. Obviously, you fear these people from looking at you, from doing anything. You just automatically assume in your mind that they are a threat, no matter what, no matter how small. And because of that, you overreact to the situation. Mm-hmm. So in your mind, it's like, oh, they can't possibly be racist. They have black friends, they have black kids, they have black boyfriends, girlfriends. But for whatever reason, that fear is there. And why do you have that fear? It's because of how they look. So that in and of itself is racist. Exactly.
And you know what? Just to further prove our point, I just want to show a quick little video, because we always hear when it comes to Black people, if they didn't, if only, then this wouldn't have happened. But I'm gonna go ahead and show this video just so we can show that argument doesn't exist here.
That's Campbell sucker punching Lincoln Park officer Patrick Cutler. It's something she doesn't deny.
I am sorry. I told him that twice.
Man. Jeez. This guy's like a ninja, man.
Who the fuck do you think you are? You're gonna die! Step back! You put that down now!
She grabs the cop by her hair.
Let go of my hair! Stop hitting her! Let go of my hair!
Let go! She won't let go, so the cop tells the other officers to get some scissors and cut her hair.
Jerry, you're gonna get in trouble. Jerry, they're gonna hurt you. Jerry.
Oh. Oh my God.
Stop.
Oh. No. The cop is on there!
And that's what they said Andrew was doing, trying to flee the scene, and yet they shot a kill shot in the back of his face. You know what they would say? They would say those are the ones doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's how they look.
Now, when I tell you that watching those videos make me so angry, because it just further proves our point, that we are literally screaming, that we are yelling, that we are protesting, that we are crying. We're doing everything to get police officers to stop killing us. So much so that is a hashtag that has over 250,000 posts of Black people pleading to police officers to stop killing us. You cannot sit here and tell me that because you thought a phone was a gun, or that, you know, a 16-year-old child was holding a knife was a problem, or that a man who may have bumped, allegedly, because we haven't seen the full footage, bumped a police officer was enough of a threat for you to shoot them multiple times, when not one person in those videos that we just watched had a gun pulled on them. So
right, when they were actual physical threats.
Exactly. So all it is you have, the complexion for protection. You can physically assault a police officer and they will wrestle you. They will talk to you. They will even get scissors to cut another officer's hair just so they don't harm a white person. But when it comes to Black people, it's fear. We got to shoot first. That doesn't make sense. But
so the question is, how do we dismantle that? What do we do? I'm not saying us, because we obviously can't do anything. But what do we as people do to help this?
Girl, you don't want to know my answer.
Not PC for the TV? Okay.
No, it's not for TV. So you don't want to know my answer. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic.
Let's everybody ask yourselves that question. If you got an answer, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm serious. I'm real serious.
We'll talk about my answer off air. So anyway, let's get into the next topic while Lindsey Graham is on this whole, because I'm coming for Lindsey tonight, because I cannot stand for somebody to say something like that. So let's move into the next topic. If you guys haven't heard, South Dakota claims that their slavery auction that they hold as a fundraiser each year isn't racist. Do you know why? Because they are 85% white, and no one had a problem with it until, I guess, allegedly this year, because social media exists, outrage exists, and that there are people, though a small percentage, that are of color that live in the area where this was held. But for the teacher to essentially come out and say, well, I didn't think that slavery was offensive, the term slavery. Ma'am, what?
Not only slavery, but branding. One of the most cruel things to claim people as property, and you're saying there's not offensive? Are you kidding?
Now, just to give you guys some insight on what the actual fundraiser is. Now, allegedly, it's for their rodeo club. So what they do is they ask students to essentially volunteer at the local whatchamacallit, I'm at loss for words, to help out local, what is the word I'm looking for?
Charity?
Well, no. They help out horse wranglers, or, people like that.
Oh, see, that's far removed, South Dakota. Yeah.
Clean up the stables and stuff like that. So essentially they're helping with that for free. And they made a joke, or were trying to make a joke of it, by saying that it's a slave auction because they're working for free. So, they're doing it for a good cause. But the crazy thing, the reason why they said that they do not want to change the name is because they couldn't figure out anything better to call it.
I almost guessed on the TV.
Can y'all believe that? They couldn't come out with anything else to call this fundraiser. So that's why they don't want to change the name. That's why.
This be the same people that will say, I don't see color. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you the problem with that statement. I don't see color is low-key saying that I have this wonderful experience in this life. And because we are all the same, because I don't see color, because we're all the same, there's no possible way that your life is any different than mine and how I walk through it. So all of these experiences that you talk about are negated because I don't believe that they're happening, because you're treated as equally as I'm treated. So it's not possible. That's what that statement does. So people stop saying, I don't see color. Because when you say that, it's an ignorant ass statement that puts down everybody else around you. We all look different for a reason. We were created to look different and live different lives, ethnicities, cultures, all of that for a reason. So respect each other and respect what people tell you when they tell you about their lived experiences. And until people are able to do that, and a certain group of people who are always in these instances, that's always having these problems, until they're able to do that as a whole, because there's a lot of them that do, but as a whole, we'll continue to have these problems.
That part. And then I would be remiss if I didn't tell you what their senator said in the Washington Post. So get ready for that. Get ready for this, y'all. He said, this is Western South Dakota. Most people don't even know we are here. They need to get off their high horse, no pun intended, and let these kids be kids and do their own thing. He then added, most importantly, mind their own business. We have our culture and you have yours. If you don't like ours, don't move here and don't come out here. And he did not find the use of slave auction offensive either and said it was meant to be a fun event.
Just like boys will be boys, right? Mm-hmm. All the stuff they do that's not okay is okay because they're just boys. We'll just excuse it away. So we're going to excuse slavery away. Like, it's not a big deal.
Exactly. Because it doesn't apply to you. That's why. Doesn't apply to you, so you don't see the problem. And that's why it's like, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And it's that same thing where it's just like, oh, the entitlement. That's what it is, and the privilege of, well, this is what we had. This is our name. This is what we had, so how dare you try to change it because this is the way that it was for years upon years. And just because you don't see a problem with it because you are a racist, let's call a spade a spade. He's just like Lindsey Graham cracker. You also are racist and you're trying to make it and cover it up with, oh, kids will be kids. No, racism is something that is taught. This has been held and it has been handed down year after year after year after year after year after year. So don't sit here and try to make it seem like we're the ones that are, in the wrong here when obviously you are. And I want people to really start paying attention to these people that are holding these positions in office, because there is also a problem. This is the senator who said this. And he had absolutely no qualms about his comment because he went ahead and spoke out to the Washington Post. So with that said, let's go ahead and go into the next topic for Lindsey Graham, because he doesn't believe that racism exists. But let's talk about this white commissioner who refused to put respect on Dr. Rosario's name. I don't know if you guys, if you have not seen this video, let's go ahead and roll it. Kayla, roll the footage. Roll that beautiful.
Our way on what we're talking about here. We're here to approve the standards that have been presented. And if Mrs. Rosario has something about one of those standards.
It's Dr. Rosario. Thank you, sir.
If Mrs. Rosario has something about
Dr. Rosario.
Well, I'm sorry. Your name says on here, Carrie Rosario. Hey, Carrie.
It's Dr. Rosario.
If you got something
I would call you Tony, so please, sir, call me as I would like to be called. That's how I'm identified.
It doesn't really matter. We're here.
It matters to me. It matters to me. And out of respect, I would like you to call me by the name that I'm asking you to call me by. Thank you.
Your screen says Carrie Rosario.
I'm verbalizing my name is Dr. Carrie Rosario. And it really speaks very negatively of you as a commissioner to be disrespectful.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you're negotiating something that happened 4 years ago. We've taken on this function. This is not.
Precious. What you think of that, girl?
It's obvious that he didn't care. Number one, because he didn't correct the saying of her last name after she said it was Rosario, not Rosario. So he was adamant to just not dismiss her throughout the entire conversation. So that proves that for anybody that's like, oh no, her name's there. No. Kudos for her for taking her power back and not going on with the conversation, because so often we as Black people, as quote unquote others, all the minorities that exist, especially me speaking with my name, Precious, so many times we will cower down when people incorrectly pronounce it or decide to say what they want to say or make an off-collar joke about it. That's just not okay. And we just cower and just say, you know what, for the lack of argument or for the lack of having to stand up for myself yet again in this world, I will just let this happen the way it is. But kudos for her for not doing that and for correcting him in front of all those people and not being ashamed to do so. Yeah.
And it reminds me of that one Instagram post. I don't know if you saw it, where it says, to the girl with the big name, correct them every single time. You know,
that's right.
Because I know people laugh at me because I say this all the time, especially when I'm meeting someone new who may not have a common name. But if you can pronounce Roethlisberger, you can pronounce someone's name. Okay.
Koski, all of that. And I'm going to say this online too. For everyone, my name is Precious, PRESHUS. That's how it's spelled. That's how it's said. Do not shorten it unless I give you permission to do so.
That part.
There you go.
That part. And please, once again, my name is Kimberly, KIMBERLEE. Do not give me LY. That is not what my mama named me. Okay. And this also just shows, it highlights how much Black people have to deal with, especially in the workplace. When you are in a workplace that is predominantly white, you know, and certain things happen or certain things are said, the microaggression that we have to deal with. But one thing that recently happened that made me, that made me really feel triggered by this clip was at work when I was a part of a conversation on an email, right? One person on the email told the other, hey, I need you to, from here on out, direct all questions, blah, 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 direct everything to Kim. She has all the answers. She can help you from this point on. That person then decides to completely disregard me and continues to talk to the person prior to. Now, I know some people may think if they were just reading the email, like, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. It is a big deal, especially when, first of all, it's a sheer disrespect, you know, and it's just ignorance and it's unprofessional. And it just made me think of so many times where in the workplace, people try to downplay your qualifications. They try to downplay your education. They try to downplay how hard you work and how we are constantly being underpaid and undervalued for all the things that we do. So that's why I just wanted to hone in so much on what Lindsey Graham said, because it irritates me when you have people in those positions that continuously say, oh, that's not a thing. Oh, that doesn't apply. Or like you said, oh, I don't see color. You wouldn't know because you don't experience that on the daily. Black people right now are so exhausted mentally and physically because we go through so much and we endure so many battles that our Caucasian friends, brethren, have no idea, because it will never in a million years ever happen to you because you have the complexion for protection. So be a tad bit sensitive, or if you want to, like a guy that I recently saw on social media, if you want to call yourself a racist, then come on out and just say that you are racist so we can treat you accordingly. Do not try to hide behind your microaggressions or, you know, your pity talk or the, oh, I just don't understand, because that gets on my nerves too. I hate when some, I just don't understand. No, you do understand. You just don't want to be corrected because you know you're also in the wrong. So please stop. Can we just stop?
You're right. They do understand, because at the base level of it, regardless of what the person looks like, is how you treat another human being. So were you automatically going to just touch another human being like they're a pet? Were you going to automatically make them feel bad about themselves and the way they look? That means that you're a horrible person. So either you really just are horrible or you're just real ignorant, because I don't know what to say about that.
That part. That part. But you know what? We are going to lighten the mood. So let's go ahead. Let's take a commercial break, and then we're going to get into our trending topics, because baby, ooh, when I tell you I love us, I love us. I love us so much. So let's go ahead and hear a word from our sponsor, shall we?
Your game night just got louder with the Lyric Party game app.
What 3 words the tag team tell you when you're getting busy? These 3 words when you're getting busy. Whoop. There it is. Hit me. According to Sir Mix-a-Lot, what did Baby have? Back. What did Eminem say his name was? Slim Shady. Come on. According to Barry White, what should you practice?
What you preach.
Laugh, yell, and compete. Download the Lyric Party game app in the App Store and Google Play.
Y'all, please support. That was so much fun. Y'all, I promise we are going to have another Lyric Party game night. It's going to happen. She is doing her damn thing right now. Baby's out here modeling, getting booked and busy, insecure, all of that stuff like that. But we We'll be back. But in the meantime, I need y'all to go ahead and download the app. It's only $1.99. Support the sister. Come on, support her. With that said, let's go ahead and get into our trending topics. Yes, producer, you're on it. No storm. Okay. The Oscars. Woo, child. The Oscars. They tried this year, didn't they? They really tried. Since they've been trending for the last couple of years of Oscars So White, they have, diversified their categories and even their winnings, especially for people of color. We definitely won pretty big. We'll just say that. We're not going to downplay that. As you can see, Tyler Perry, he won for the Humanitarian Award, which I think rightfully so. Her won for Best Original Song. Soul won for Best Animation, I believe. And then Best Original Score. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom won for makeup and hair, which was the first Black women to ever win in that category. So shout out to them.
And they should talk to Tyler Perry. Yeah, they should commune.
We're not gonna do that. And then Mr. Daniel Kaluuya. I am here for him. He won for Best Supporting Actor, which, he won for Best Supporting Actor for Judas and the Messiah, and the Black Messiah. I was so here for him, but like all things, as we celebrate, as we, relish in the fact that this man got his Oscar, then you go into the press room, you're happy, you're on cloud nine, then someone mistakens you for someone completely different. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let's go ahead and roll the clip. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Hi. I want to congratulate you on this. I've been following you since the beginning of your career, and I was wondering what it meant for you to be directed by Regina, what this means for you at this time with the world in the state that it's in.
Say that question again, please.
I was wondering what it meant for you to win with the world in the state that it's in at the moment.
His reaction.
Do better. Do better. And
you obviously haven't been following his career because you don't know what he looked like.
If you guys don't know who she was mistaking him for, she was mistaking him for Leslie Odom Jr., who was also present at the Oscars. He played Sam Cooke in One Night in Miami. That was directed by Regina King. That had absolutely nothing to do with Judas and the Black Messiah or Daniel whatsoever. They look completely different. One is off of Broadway. One is, first of all, like I told Kayla the other night, we're not even on the same continent. Leslie's from America. Daniel is not. And the fact that she tried to brush it off or essentially tried to act like, oh, it was an audio issue because she had gotten so much flack, so much criticism, and so much backlash because, once again, as a journalist, it is your responsibility to do the research. It is your responsibility to know exactly who it is that you are talking to and not to make these amateur mistakes. So she decided to tweet everyone and say, I did not mistake you for Leslie Odom Jr., even if she spelled it wrong. I'm sorry if it seemed that way. I wanted to ask about Regina King not being nominated as a director for One Night in Miami and your win for Judas and the Black Messiah for the community at this time. There was a sound issue, so I dropped that part about Regina King and restated my question. What does it mean for the community at this time? While I listened to the audio, I do understand, but there was no confusion. Girl, what?
She clearly said, how did it feel to be directed by Regina King? She clearly, you can hear it clear. This is, to be Black in America is to be somewhat crazy and insane at the same time, because it will make you think that you are delusional when everything is clear as day and you can hear it and you can see it. That's why his reaction was the way it was, because he's like, am I hearing what I think I'm hearing? Did she really just ask me? Did she just mistake me for the? He was like, is this really happening right now? Yes. On the biggest night of his life, it happened. And it's just, Once again, microaggressions. The things that we've talked about, so many different levels of microaggressions within the past time that we've been on this show, within the past half hour. We talked about at work, names, just being mistaken as an animal, cops. And now even at the height of your career as an actor at the Oscars. What? You got a card in front of you. I would have been the journalist in the room so loud, like, oh, did she just say that? I'd have been extra so she could feel
it. The thing is to be unapologetic about it. You didn't even just say, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up. Because we as humans, we do mess up. Yes. I get it. But it was just the timing. Yeah. And the fact that you are a white journalist and this was a black man that you were talking to, and with everything that is happening, it just looks so bad. All you had to do.
At the grocery store when we were together, we were having a conversation. I had on a tank top similar to this, except it was bright, like workout. You had on workout clothes. We were talking, and a woman comes up to us. You can guess what she looked like. She walked up to us with the cart. Was like, "Excuse me, can you tell me where such and such is?" And we stopped our conversations, just let her know we don't work here. The workers that do work here are wearing blue and gray uniform shirts, and there's one passing you right now. And she just sat there in the awkwardness. And sometimes you have to let ignorant people, no matter who they are, let them sit in the awkwardness so they can realize the ridiculousness of the moment. And she apologized, and she realized that she was wrong, and she scooted away with the cart.
And that's it.
We may have saved her and someone else from future ignorance coming from her.
That part. And you know what? I'm not going, just to play devil's advocate, just for a second, because I'm always down to cuss somebody else, especially when it comes to race. But we've all had that time where we've mistaken somebody for somebody else. I mean, we here on In the Divas, then we played a game where we did not know who the hell most of those people were.
Yes.
However, you are at the Oscars. You have a card, as Precious said, in front of you. You know who's coming into the press room. They are announcing it. Next up, we will have such and such and such. You will have this time to answer your questions, blah, 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 blah. You had time to prepare, ma'am. So that's why we don't accept your explanation, because you're trying to make us, as Precious said, feel like we're dumb. Like, oh, well, obviously y'all didn't hear me correctly. No, baby. We heard you. You thought you were talking to Leslie Odom Jr. And that is not who won an Oscar that night. So humble yourself. Come on back. Go ahead and apologize and just say, damn it, I was wrong. I am sorry, because you did mess up his night. That man was riding on a high, and kudos to him for still answering the question, because I definitely would have played her damn life like, baby, I don't know who you talking about. Yes, you were loud and you were wrong. The person that you're referring to definitely isn't standing up here right now. This is Judas and the Black Messiah. So maybe you might want to go ask Leslie Odom Jr. about that, but I'm not him.
Right. And then they were all on one apparently, because the actress that won for Minari, the first Asian actress to win an Oscar, which is a historic moment, they gonna ask her. You were sitting next to Brad Pitt. What did he smell like?
What did he smell like?
And to her credit, she said, I don't know. I'm not a dog.
That part.
That's let him sit in the awkwardness. Sit in the awkwardness of that stupid question. She just won a historic win in her 70s. She just started acting not too long ago because someone told her to do it. That's huge. And you're gonna try to ruin the moment with a stupid question? I don't understand. I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Just for these people to be able to have the access to such monumental events, and you ask stupid questions like that. And I just don't know. I don't know. Because like I said, I definitely, my degree is in journalism. I do my research, and I definitely make sure that I am asking thought-provoking questions or something that is memorable. That's my goal when I'm interviewing.
Or that makes sense to the conversation.
That part, so when you ask stupid questions like, oh, well, how does Brad Pitt smell? You on record, you said that. You were comfortable with that question. So I'm over it. I'm tired of it, and I need y'all to do better. Do better. Do better. Do better. With that said, let's talk about this trend that is going on TikTok before we get into our guest. If you guys have not been on Instagram, you, Andrew. Look, you're so sweet. Okay. So if you guys have not been on TikTok lately, or if you haven't been on Instagram, it's also streaming on Instagram. I mean, it's also on Instagram as well. There is a trend that is happening where Black people are essentially talking about, you know, their pain or the microaggressions or things that they're experiencing, but they are making it funny. There's one guy who decided to start this trend. And essentially he was just letting people know, like, I am not every Black person that you see. Like, you know, like we are different, but it's just making a joke out of it. And I think that's one thing that I love about, you know, some of the people who are creating this content during a pandemic is where we are essentially just trying to make light of very dark situations, because that's all we have at this current moment. There's so many attacks, so many things are happening. But at the end of the day, Black people gonna make something funny, you know? So I'm not even gonna say anything else. I'm just gonna let you guys see the video. So let's roll. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the video. I'm gonna roll the video.
This restaurant assumed that I wanted to order chicken just because of the color of my skin. Silence, racist. Not all ebony palates are the same. I can be Black and still like other forms of poultry. I'm every nigga, they're all in me. Ayo, I ain't mean it like that, baby.
Stupid.
He created this one video and it started to literally just spread like wildfire, where people are essentially talking about their own experiences we're dealing with. And it kind of spearheaded him to create more videos, as this one right here.
Society says that Black men are criminals, thieves even. What am I, swiper? The only thing I steal is my girlfriend's heart. And her various bank cards from her wallet. I'm every nigga, they're all in me. Ayo, I ain't mean it like that, baby.
Who falls on that backside?
Girl, I'm here for it. So, like I said, other people are getting onto the trend, which leads us to these next two videos.
White people, for some reason, have always found my presence to be comforting and non-threatening, probably mostly because of my smile. That's why I use my privilege as a palatable Black person every day to remind white people of systemic injustice and inequity that exists in our world. Because as long as racism exists, y'all should never be comfortable.
I'm every nigga.
And last but not least,
white people love commenting on how articulate, well-spoken, and intelligent I am. But what they don't realize is that I simply mastered code switching at an early age as a survival mechanism when operating white spaces.
I'm every nigga, they're all in me.
The flow of the frog.
I am so here for this trend. I'm here for it. Mainly because, like I said, we can all we can all pretty much relate to these videos. And as funny as it is, it's just you gotta laugh. You've got to laugh and just find your silver lining. Because when I tell y'all, sometimes it's hard being a Black person in America. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's like when you hear, I'm tired of hearing about slavery and how white people are to blame. Like, it wasn't us. I'm like, okay, as tired as you are about hearing it, imagine walking around and you just had the skin that you just can't get rid of. And no matter what happens, you ain't even got to say nothing. You walk into a room and somebody clutching on their purse, or beeping on their car extra just because you got out next to them. Just imagine that and what that does to your mental on a regular basis.
Or when you feel guilty about walking in a store and walking out and you didn't buy anything, but they also feel like you're stealing. So you're just like, should I buy something? Or is anybody watching?
You gotta take your hands out of your pockets. Not even putting your hands in the pockets. Having the talk. Knowing what the talk is.
Girl, should we have our I'm Every Nigga videos? I think we need to make some. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our guests. One thing that I really wanted to do, as you guys may or may not know about In the Divas, and I created this platform just to highlight Black women and Black entrepreneurs and give them a space where they can be themselves, where they can talk about their journey, where they can possibly share some gems and pass them down to others. So I wanted to highlight a few people in the community in Raleigh and outside of Raleigh who are just really doing phenomenal things. And the one person that I thought of immediately, and it's crazy because she and I always told her I wanted to interview her, but I never could find a good time to catch up with her. But she was the first person that came to mind when I wanted to do this, Dope Diva segment. So I'm going to bring her on. Her name is Azia Harris of Azia B Nail Salon. Hey, Azia.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How you doing, girl? How you doing, honey?
Girl, tired. I've been getting ready for this party I'm having, but
so Azia, first of all, kudos. Let me just start there. Kudos to you, because when I first moved down here in 2012, I needed to find somebody who essentially could do my nails, and I wanted only a Black nail tech. And when I was asking around, your name was the first name that popped up. Everyone was like, you need to go to Azia B Nail Salon. She has really dope nail techs. They do really dope things there, blah, 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 blah. And the moment that I stepped into your salon, you were so welcoming, and going from an experience of stepping into salons where people don't look like you or speak the same language or even acknowledge you sometimes, it was such a cool thing to be able to be like, hey, girl, how you doing? What's going on? What do you need today? You want to get your nails done? What do you want on your nails? You are overall Black girl magic. So let's just start there. Okay.
Very much. I appreciate that.
No problem. But for you, as a Black woman, how does it feel? Like, how did you break into or even create your own lane in essentially an industry where you don't see a lot of Black women?
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I've been here for about 11. I'll be losing track because I've been here so long. But in Detroit, it's a little different than it is here. It's a lot different, especially then. We, Black women, we dominate the hair, nail industry, the beauty industry. Now, they had the beauty supply stores, and they actually, to be honest, they were trying to keep up with us and our trends there. So I moved here, it was completely different. Like, they were only the Asian nail salons. And I was like, wow, so I already knew that I was going to do nails here, but I wanted to get my feet wet. So I went to a couple of salons just to see how they would treat me and what they were doing. So I broke a nail and was trying to see who would fix it. I was checking out the nail art and I was like, oh, wow. So their nail art is pretty basic. So I know I'm going to kill it. So that's exactly what I did. I came here and I introduced them to a different style of nail art and got them excited about that because I described what I was seeing as like little jungle lines. They was all different color lines. And I was like, oh, this is the nail art that they do. So I was like, okay, I got this. And basically that's how I broke into it. I really just brought the nail art. That was how I got them in. And it was hard for me to, like I said, this was all new to me because I was like, whoa, like we run this back in Detroit where I'm from. So they were looking at me like, oh, I never had a Black girl do my nails. I never knew nails. And I was like, oh, we got to bring it. We got to show them what's up. And that's exactly what happened.
And I'm glad you did, because one thing that I can actually say is whenever I get my nails done by you or even one of your mentees, or your proteges, everyone always comments on my nails and they're like, I've never seen anyone do nail art like that before, where even when I would go into, one of the salons or I might get, a quick pedicure, they would look at my nails and be like, who did your nails? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Not you, I commend you on that because what you do and essentially the lane that you've created, you don't see too many people who are doing that. And like you said, they're just now catching up with the trend where, they're like, oh, okay, well, let's, put some foil on here or let's put some diamonds on here or, let's put some jewels. But you're not really seeing that and it's not very common. But one thing I also want to talk about is the simple fact that you are somebody where you don't essentially learn something and hold on to it. You are constantly feeding into other Black women. So why even do that? Why not just essentially be like, I got the nail game on lock and it's just me?
Well, I would say it was very hard for me. Like I said, being a Black woman and getting my own people to say, hey, you can do this. Like, these nails are fabulous. Like I said, it was kind of rough at first, but I knew that was a challenge and I'm all down for that. So now I just feel like, hey, I know what it is to start out. Like when I moved here from Detroit, I didn't know anybody. Now I know somebody almost in every circle, or somebody knows about me or they hear about me. So that's a good thing. But I worked hard for that. I go to networking events. I used to get in inboxes. I hadn't even gotten a Facebook or any social media until I moved here. And I knew I need that for my business. So I know how hard it is, and it's networking. You know, you got to network with the right people. So that's why that's a passion of mine, because I know how hard it can be. And sometimes small conversations of inspiration or motivation, like I didn't care. I was set up anywhere. When I was first coming here, when I first moved here, I would find a place to put nails. I would find, like, if you were having a photo, not a photo shoot, a fashion show. I'm like jumping in the inbox, hey, you know, my name is Asia. Have you thought about adding nails to your showcase or just anything? So I like to tell people this is how you do it. You can't just sit down and say, hey, I got this business and post on social media. You can, that'll help a lot. But back then when I was doing it, it wasn't like that. I built my business from beating the streets, networking events, getting to know people. I was hungry and I wanted people to know. So that, with me knowing that now, I invite them to my salon, and I really support a lot of small businesses, especially women, like, you know, because I know how hard it is.
And you definitely do that. If you guys aren't following Asia, make sure that you do, because she's always holding some sort of event in her salon, as she said, where there will be, you know, small business owners, predominantly Black women, who will come there to showcase what it is that they do. And it's just dope to see a room full of women just doing what it is that they love. And that's, like I said, what I like and what I love about you, because you're always there to support, you know, always there to support. And anytime we sit and have a conversation, you're just very complimentary about what Black women are doing. Or you'll even ask, like, okay, so what do you got going on? What's going on, you know, or how can I help? And to hear a Black person often ask another Black woman, how can I help you? That's probably one of the biggest things that you can do. Because most of the time it's just, hey, girl, you might be able to lend a helping hand by telling me about this, that, and the third, or how to navigate through here or navigate through that. And like I said, I love the fact that you constantly have women up under you, and you're always teaching, you know, and always showing, and you know, essentially telling them, like, okay, well, you might want to try this next time or do this next time. And it's so good to see that. It really is. So I also see that you have several other things going on. So I see that you're kind of like shying away just a little bit from nails, but then you also are doing somewhat of like cosmetics with soaps and things like that now too.
Yes. Well, see, I knew that I wanted to, like, when we went through the pandemic, I was like, okay, because I'm not one of those showcase people. I don't put a whole bunch of stuff up there that I'm doing, you know, like, because you know, I'm just a private type person. I don't like to be all out there like, hey, look at me, do this. I can support you in private. I could send you Cash App. I could donate. I could do all that stuff. So I like to be private, and I don't need no notoriety for that. So I kind of like just started branching to other things. And I already had a lot of different things on while doing nails, because I also learned that I didn't want to just be that girl who's doing nails till I'm 100 years old, because I'm not gonna lie, nail money is good money. Even though I'm gonna be retiring in a couple years, I'm like, hold on, wait. When you make like $4,000 a day, you be like, dang, what am I gonna do that's gonna do that? And it's something that I like. So I'm just basically doing things that I like right now. The soaps that came from me, I was like, okay, I love when I've tried. I was a Dove girl all day, but when I tried a natural soap bar, I was like, oh, okay, it's over for that. So I was like, okay, you know what? That would be great to introduce other women into that. Like, hey, I got the salon. Women come here for beauty. Why not have that? And so I don't make the soaps. I support a small business who she makes the soaps and she's amazing. And I get them from her. So that's helping her bring money into her business. It's helping me bring money into my business. And once again, it's helping women. It's helping them like stop using all that stuff, y'all. Use this right here. This all filled with shea butter and all the stuff that we need for our skin. And so anything that I try and I like it, I'm gonna buy it anyway. So I'm gonna invest in it. Like my shirt. You see the tee. I love the tee. Okay? So it was a lot of weight. You know, it did. I gained some back. Like 10 pounds back, but I know how to. That's because I wasn't doing what I need to do. But so I tried it, and I was like, because I kept on hearing all the hype about it, and I tried it, and I was like, oh yeah. So me being the businesswoman I am, if I'm going to use any product, I'm going to need to invest in it because I have a network of women. I've built a network of women who, if I say go buy that dog down the street or go buy that lip gloss or buy that, they're going to be like, ooh, Asia, I want to buy it. So if it's something that's good and it's helped change my life in any way, then I'm going to sell it.
That part. I know that's right. Yeah, come on, Asia. Come on. And when it comes to you essentially mentoring, because another thing that I can really say about y'all, if y'all ain't getting your nails done by Asia, you just missing out, period. But another thing I can say about you is that you know customer service. And we will be honest here on this platform. Sometimes when it comes to, you know, Black businesses and Black entrepreneurs, customer service is not always number one.
But that's say that. I totally agree. But when I told you in the beginning, I said I knew I had to bring it. That is something I learned as well. Now, I'm a hood chick by nature, straight from the out of the. So it actually took. I remember my ex-husband, we had opened the salon. I moved here and I was able to get to work. I had rented a space. So in about 3 months, I knew that I had wanted my own salon. So that's when I got it. 3 months after I had moved here, I got they're condominiums on Six Forks, but I know a lot of ladies who get their beginnings there and then they move to bigger spaces. So I had gotten that one, and just some of the ways, my mannerisms, it was like the way I was talking to people. It was still kind of like a little bit rough. And so I had to learn like the ways of the Southern way. Cause I'm not gonna lie, it's way different.
Way different.
And the customer service here, like even when I go other places I travel now, I'm so used to Raleigh a little bit. Maybe it's North Raleigh. I don't know. Like, oh, they like that. But I'm not gonna lie, Chick-fil-A and all that stuff, like we didn't have that. They have it now. But I was like, whoa, like we were so impressed about how the customer service, even at the McDonald's, well, it's not like that no more. But, you know, when we first moved here, everything, you felt like you was really getting that A1 service. So I'm like, oh, this is a whole nother ball game. So my ex-husband told me, he said, listen, babe, you cannot talk to people that are paying you or that are, you know, working with you like they're off the streets. He was like, you got to soften it up a little bit. And doing this, and I didn't know how. So guess what? But I knew how. I heard when I went to Chick-fil-A how I enjoyed going there just because of how they treated me, how I went to certain places. See, we don't have that in Detroit. It's like basically you get what you get. Like my hair make me wait for hours and hours and hours. Here in North Carolina, oh, y'all don't play that. Y'all ladies do not play that. So I had to learn all these things on my own. And that's why I was like, listen, that's one of the things that we're going to do, because I do know that that is an issue with women of color. They'll come in, you know, like, and be looking at you like, hello, no, you want this person to come and patronize your business, greet them. So I have to learn to do that. Even if a customer comes in the salon and they're not mine, I'm saying, hello, how are you? Like all the ladies, and then they'll follow suit because they're learning. Some of them, believe me, I feel like some of these girls have been my children. I promise you. Because some of them don't know either. So why not teach them that this is, you got to lead by example. So when they see me greet a customer, it flows out. But I had to learn all these things on my own. So
girl, kudos to you. I mean, you are so dope. And like I said, that's what I love about you. And I'll forever be a fan. I will forever support you. And anytime somebody asks where you get your nail, Asia, period. Even if it wasn't by Asia.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
She does, just like that.
No, period. So anybody that, like I said, anybody that has ever worked at Azia B, I don't care if they like me or not now, guess what? I watch you and I see you and I'd be like, yeah, she's doing that. She did that. I was teaching them. And so no matter what, it's just like to see that makes me so happy, and to see them fly and do different things. get their own places or want to open their own stuff, I'm always encouraging of that, you know? So it's just like you watching your little children grow.
Right.
And that gives me great pleasure. And even with the customer service, because some of them were really rough. Like and then when I saw that, usually another nail salon or something, they would turn them away. And conversations with people who actually probably wanted to hire them, and then when they came, but I'm like, no, I see something different. I'm gonna show this woman who's maybe from a different area, you know, show her, yes, turn that around and let's get this money. That's all you got. Yeah.
That part. Now, one last question, because we do have to wrap up before we go. What would you say to someone who essentially is thinking about being an entrepreneur, especially a Black woman, or even thinking of getting in the beauty industry, but might be a little hesitant of it?
I would say, make sure, can I cuss on here?
Yeah, girl.
Make sure you have your shit together, okay? Don't just be cute. Yeah, you can be that one who's doing nails outside your house or doing whatever. No hating on that. But make sure that you're setting yourself up on the business side, on the back end, to have your shit together. Don't just do nails forever and not be putting your money into, like, we don't have a retirement plan as entrepreneurs, independent contractors. So you have to make sure you take care of that. You want to make sure that your business is legitimized. If you're serious about it, if it's just a hobby, then that's okay. But why not take advantage of these things? Because when you get, like, I'm about to be 40 this year, but please believe I got my stuff together where if I stop doing nails, I still enjoy it. So I want to do it. I'm going to take this thing out till I'm tired, you know, but I already have a date with my retirement. But I was able to make sure that I have my stuff together so that I'm not like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, like, you got to make sure you have it together on the money side. Get you some credit, legitimize your business, learn about these things. If you don't, there are people that you can pay. Hey, I have conversations all the time. I'm giving away free game to those girls.
That part.
So, I mean, hey, make sure you get your shit together. Don't just make money and do nails and be flexing and you be one of those girls that have to have a GoFundMe or a fish fry if something happen. Come on. Let's I'm just saying. But sometimes we don't know better. But I feel like all this information that we are giving out here on social media and stuff like that, it's no excuse. I mean, I don't know everybody's situation, but I'm just saying we got to do a little bit better. You don't have to be making a whole lot of money to invest in those things, especially if you start young.
That part. Girl, you're so dope. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for continuously doing everything you're doing for, you know, Black women, Black nail techs, just being a mentor. Thank you for being dope. Thank you for being personable. Thank you for having really good customer service. Thank you for persevering. Thank you for dominating and really putting people on game with the nail. Hey, get with it. Act like you know. Period. But thank you. And I appreciate you taking out the time to sit down and talk with us. But like I asked everyone else, would you be willing to come back into the Divas Den at a later date?
Sure, girl. Maybe one day when I'm so tired too and I can get cute. I was like, oh my God, I gotta go hurry up and get at least put my ponytail or something. I got 2 broke nails. So yes, next time I'm gonna be ready.
You cute anyway, don't worry about it. And like I said, please make sure you go support. If you guys are out here, you want to get your nails done, yes, Anthony, she is LGBT friendly, she does not discriminate.
Do you, okay?
That part. Go and get your nails done. Azia B Nails, they also do pedicures. So please go support, follow the Facebook page, follow the Instagram page, and just go support. Go support. That's all. It's just that simple. But thank you, Azia. We love you. And I will see you, girl.
I have a good night.
You too. All right, girl. How you feeling, honey?
I'm good. I'm hearing some stuff outside. Hoping not everybody hearing that, but I'm good. Yeah. The whole time I'm like, no.
Thank you guys. Thank you once more for supporting in the Divas Den. We love you guys so much. Thank you, Azia, for coming on. So dope. Like I said, go follow her, Azia B Nails, AZIA, not Asia, ASIA, but AZIA. Go support her, please, and make sure y'all support us. Just a climple. What? I'm tired. I am tired, y'all. It's time to go. Simple, share, like, and follow. That's all we need. And you're done. That's it. That's it. But we love you guys. We will see you next week. Bye.